The United States experiences more influx of illegal immigrants from all over the world than nearly any country in the world today. What are the top 10 countries with the highest number of illegal immigrants in America, and why do they keep moving? Let's find out. Number 10. Mexico. Mexico's economy, like several third world countries, offers little hope to its lively young citizens. It might be a place to connect with culture, but there isn't so much to help with the economic growth of the citizens. This is why several of its citizens try again and again to cross the border between the country and the United States of America. Unfortunately, more often than not, these attempts have led to successful states like Texas. From there, they move to hotspots like New York and California. This accounts for the huge number recorded as of 2022. About 43% of undocumented immigrants in the US were from Mexico. All of these illegal immigrants seek to create a better life for themselves than what they left behind, and hopefully offer their offspring prime opportunities that are non-existent in their home state. Unfortunately, the huge number of illegal Mexican immigrants is now a menace to the Americans, and measures have been taken to enforce deportation in the years to come. Number 9. El Salvador. El Salvador happens to be one of the poorest countries in Latin America. Citizens are stuck with limited job opportunities and worse, low wages. This largely stems from the unprofitable economy of the nation. Its major revenue generator is agriculture, and since this is vulnerable to fluctuations in commodity prices, there seems to be no better future awaiting most people here. The country also has an unflattering high rate of homicide according to global data. This is caused by the strong presence of different gangs around the country, small and big, running organized crimes, including human trafficking and hard drugs. If one is forced to live in the atmosphere daily, setting out would certainly be a priority. This is why more and more El Salvador citizens make their way to America, however illegally. According to a study, undocumented migration from El Salvador to the US has been steadily increasing over the past 30 years. Number 8. Guatemala. Like El Salvador, Guatemala is another Latin American country with a struggling economy, but their history of migration to the US is not quite as an event as one would think. It began as far back as 1965, after the United States enacted what was called the Hart-Celler Act. This allowed the migration of one person in a family. This legal immigration was soon usurped by other members of the family who didn't have the option of being legal immigrants. In recent times, the story has taken a turn for the worse. Guatemala has suffered droughts and coffee rust fungus, which has affected the backbone of its economy, the coffee industry. This has led to poverty, crime, and corruption, serving as adequate motivation for anyone looking for a reason to cross the border illegally. All of the people migrating are in search of better opportunities. Unfortunately, their large number makes it difficult for the rest of the citizens to access proper government aid that their taxes pay for. Number 7. Philippines. The Philippines is facing some challenges that drive many citizens to migrate to the United States. One major factor is economic inequality. The divide between the rich and poor is always obvious, but it is a stark reality in a place like the Philippines. There are limited opportunities for work and career advancement in the Philippines. People who stay usually have to settle for really low wages. So, many Filipinos migrate to the US for higher paying jobs and better living standards. Unfortunately, they do try illegal means if they are not allowed to do so legally. Another factor contributing to this trend is the desire for education and career advancement. The US is home to many world-class universities and educational institutions, making it a hub for students and professionals seeking better opportunities. Although this may seem to only point at legal immigrants, people also come in illegally looking to get into academic institutions as legal students eventually. Number 6. India. Like several other countries, India also pulls its weight as a significant source of undocumented immigrants in the United States. According to recent data, approximately 917 Indians were encountered by US authorities while trying to enter the country illegally in 2022. Indians are one of the largest immigrant groups in the United States. According to Pew Research Center, India is the second largest origin country for immigrants in the US, accounting for around 6% of the total immigrant population. Many Indians struggle to make ends meet due to limited job opportunities and low wages. The US, with its strong economy and higher standard of living, becomes an attractive destination for those seeking better economic prospects. Some Indians are also trying to escape persecution, violence, or human rights abuses in their home country. The US is seen as a representation of the freedom, safety, and hope that they need. Number 5. Brazil. Brazilians make up a huge chunk of the percentage of illegal immigrants coming into America every day. In 2022 alone, a shocking 60,000 illegal immigrants came into the US from Brazil alone. Judging from their sum total of 226,000 in a 2020 estimate, their illegal movement seems to be on the rise. Although Brazil is rich in culture, it doesn't have enough to support its economy financially. Like every other person anywhere in the world, Brazilians are seeking a better life, and they seem willing to do anything to get it, even if it is illegal. Unfortunately, things don't come automatically easy for migrants once they step into the United States. Sometimes it becomes even harder. Most illegal Brazilian immigrants work in factories and do other odd jobs that offer pay without requiring a social security number. But more often than not, the wages are not up to the required workers' minimum wage. Number 4. Honduras. With an economy that depends largely on agriculture and financial support from foreign organizations and countries, Honduras is one of the poorest economies in Latin America and the world. The country's entire GDP amounts to a miserable average of $4,000, nowhere near the income of an average American blue-collar worker. As it stands, the rate of poverty seems to increase as each year passes. Add that to the thriving corruption and crime, and you will discover that a major part of the population is on the run. As expected, the country also has a high unemployment rate, and most of the employed workers operate in the largely informal sector. In addition to the large number of natives moving to the United States from Honduras, fleeing citizens of neighboring places like Cuba and Venezuela use Honduras as part of the illegally established channel to the United States. Number 3. China. Our next country might surprise you, especially because it is a hotspot for illegal immigrants as well. This country is China. America did not experience a large influx of Chinese citizens until after COVID-19. In China, a large number of small businesses were shut down during that period, which negatively impacted a reasonable percentage of the middle class. The solution? Moving to the United States illegally. The journey to the US is often expensive and dangerous, with many migrants traveling overland through the Darien Gap and then up through Central America and Mexico. Some migrants have reported paying smugglers and bribing officials to aid in their journey. It's worth noting that the surge in Chinese migration to the US has slowed down recently, due in part to increased cooperation between the US and China to stem the flow of migrants. Number 2. Vietnam. Imagine living a life where you can never tell when your house will be consumed by a flood, a typhoon, or a hurricane. That is the daily existence of most Vietnam citizens. This has resulted in the consistent illegal immigration of its citizens to the United States. More often than not, these migrants are not fully aware of what their existence would look like in the US, yet the allure of some measure of stability is always strong enough to pull them away. Although Vietnam has made significant inroads in improving the quality of lives of its citizens through various policies and programs, it is not yet enough to cut short the constant river of people flowing out. The tragic part of this is that a constantly recovering economy like that of Vietnam will always require a huge percentage of its population working to sustain the economy. Unfortunately, as more people leave, this reality is becoming more and more impossible. Number 1. Ecuador. The citizens of Ecuador have to suffer through economic difficulties resulting from the country's slow economic growth. Ecuador's major source of revenue comes from exporting oil, and the decrease in the price of oil in recent years has impacted its economy negatively. As a result, a large number of Ecuadorians have difficulty accessing necessities such as good healthcare, education, and sanitation. These are things that are available even to illegal immigrants in most states in America. The economic situation has also affected the country's infrastructure, including transportation and energy. Power outages are common, and the lack of investment in the energy sector has exacerbated the problem. The new government has implemented measures to address the economic situation, including increasing taxes and reducing public expenditure. However, these measures may have a negative impact on the living standards of Ecuadorians. Rather than continue to suffer through it, many make the dangerous move to get into America illegally. We have come to the end of our video. Thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content.